Have you noticed that absolutely everyone is in Arrested Development now?
I should rewatch that one.
Yeah,
I
but it's
haven't seen
true.
it in a while. It's true.
Yeah,
At least a lot of people our age, it seems.
yeah,
Hi.
yeah. Hello. So this is not Diaries of a GhostEO, but who are you?
Hi, I'm Ben. Wait,
Ben. Oh,
wait.
okay.
You're the guy from Diaries of a GhostEO?
I am also the guy from Diaries of a GhostEO. Yeah,
Oh my god. I'm a
I
huge
know.
fan. Hi.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually don't usually talk to fans, but okay. I made a
Yeah,
mistake.
it's well, never meet your idols, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a problem you have. I don't have the problem.
Yeah, it's already depressing
Yeah.
to see this parasocial relationship shatter.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, he's actually an idiot.
And well, this is an ASMR channel, right? So
Sort of,
this is
yeah.
one
I mean,
thing I wanted to achieve is that to bring my voice into like an ASMR vibe.
are you enjoying my ASMR?
Yeah,
Do you want me to whisper a little bit? Does that do some? Is
I
this
like
good?
the. It's very nice, but I do enjoy the mic scratching. I won't do it now. I don't have the
Hmm.
mic for it, and I
Yeah.
know you hate it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
All right.
But what I do it for the money, you know. Yeah.
Of course.
Sarah told me I should like really open with something like, you know, to grab people. That's why I started with the Arrested Development. But
Yeah,
then
and that was
usually,
a very, very good opening.
yeah, I think the opening is great. But then usually it's like people don't know how to react, and then it's like 5 seconds of silence. I feel like we're probably losing a lot of people then again.
But yeah, it was a great opening, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true what you said. And
Can you
the book we are
explain
talking about is
exactly?
pretty much on topic, right?
That's what I was thinking. Can you explain to the audience why it is a great opening?
Oh, because we are talking about Susan Neiman's book, Why Grow Up, I think it's called, right?
Yep. Why grow up? Because I feel like a lot of
And
people are asking that question. It's like,
yeah,
what's in
why
it
grow
for
up?
me?
So, well, what's in it for me? That's the best approach to life and happiness.
Hmm.
Ask that question every day, as often as you can.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of
Not
like her point too. Like she thinks if we can just put like a dollar value on everything, it will just be.
yeah, right. So yeah, that's the book we are talking about, and it's about it's like a philosophical, motivational book, I would say, sort of.
You think there's a lot of? I
A little
mean,
bit.
I can see it. Yeah, there's a little bit of motivation in there. The philosophy I can see, like it's very heavy
Yeah,
on going, you know, across the centuries and pointing out different philosophers.
yeah, and yeah, it's about basically she wants to establish an ideal type grown up, which you can orientate yourself towards.
Do you feel
Um,
that's what she wants to do?
I think that's what she's doing. Like
Mm.
as an overarching topic, I think that's one of the things she wants to achieve. Is what I feel. Yeah.
I mean, I do think, yeah, I guess I can sort of see it. Like she's pro growing up. Yeah, she's kind of
Yeah.
like, and it's why grow up, and it's a good thing. And but I don't think she's like super normative about it, right? Like she's kind of like drawing very broadly on different ideas.
Yeah. Yeah. She does a lot of historical background on it, and actually not that many different philosophers, but the relevant ones. I think it's
Yeah,
more about bringing the point home. But
she comes back to the
I
same ones a lot.
yeah, but I do feel like it starts with this ideal type and it sort of finishes as well. But I mean, um, do you think we should start with like general impressions, or you want to discuss a concrete question first?
No, we can start with like what was your general impression of the book? Did you like it?
Yeah. Yes, I did enjoy it actually quite a bit. I didn't enjoy it as like an analytical work, sort of, because I think parts of the book are a little bit could have been structured a little bit better, you know,
Yeah.
to follow. She's jumping a little bit at different chapters, but I feel that's what I said. It's a motivational book. It has sort of this. It draws you in and tells you, well, it's not really your fault, right? A lot of people struggle in the same way as you do, if you struggle, that is. And there are ways forward. That's why I thought personally that it's motivational in a philosophical sense.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I mean, she comes from a like kind of a Marxist point of view, right? I would say. Or did you?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they're definitely more leftist. I'm not entirely sure if it's Marxist.
I guess you're
She's a
right.
very strong advocate for the Enlightenment, like the
Yeah.
classic idea of enlightenment, right?
It's not so much Marxist. It's almost anarchist actually, more like, right? Because
Oh, that's
she's
interesting.
very much against, like her point is one of the main reasons why you should grow up is because people in power don't want you to. You're more malleable if
Yeah, yeah.
if you don't grow up. That I feel like that's what she hammers home all the time, and she kind of like, and I guess this comes from like the Rousseau Enlightenment idea. It's like you need to become a full human being to be free and to not be at service for people who want you docile and subjugated.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's true. She talks about that a lot. And Rousseau, yeah, he's like the candidate for that, right? He's more or less the one who pretty much said that society changes people for the worse. um,
Well, I
and I
mean, I
do,
think he
yeah,
was, yeah, he was basically saying like he would uh, raise children to be like completely separate from society, basically first,
yeah,
right? So that,
exactly, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like the idea, it's been. She talks about this book, Emile, I think, or I don't know how to pronounce this in French.
Hmm.
Emile, peut-être. Um,
I do
and
not speak
it's
French. I mean, I
uh,
can, but I just choose not to.
yeah, you choose letter. Yes, it's good. I need to keep my voice in the ASMR range like this. No, so yeah, it's been some years ago since I read it. I can't remember much, but yeah, she talks about it in the book, and it's basically there is this godlike teacher who isolates the boy in this case from society and teaches him how to, use his own judgment, and by using his own judgment he gets rewarded by the things he does, right? That's like the basic idea. So you do something, you think about it, and you get rewarded, for example, by nature, because I think one example is you place the ladder correctly at the tree, so you get the cherry, right? So
Yeah.
everything you do is like it's like a direct positive response to your own use of reason and judgment.
Yeah, it's very
um
learning by doing, like I guess what children do to start with. But as far I didn't read the
yeah,
Emil, but as far as she seems to point out, like what he wants to achieve is that like further understanding of the world should also come in the same type of learning,
yeah,
rather
yeah,
than like bookish introduction.
exactly. um exactly. I think for the development, I think I'm not sure, we haven't mentioned this actually. I think the idea, like the ideal type, we could maybe establish what she thinks of this ideal type grown up, right? What it actually
Yeah, that
consists
would be
of.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. How would you? Because
Because
you brought this up earlier, so it would be interesting to hear what you think.
yeah, I mean, I think she talks about it in the beginning and then at the end as well, where she refers to Kant, Immanuel Kant, that is, and it's basically the first time she talks about it. It sounds a little bit like it's like a biological process that every human being goes through. Like the small child um, is basically believing everything and is
Yeah.
very dogmatic because everything there is no choice for the baby, for the little child. It has to be dogmatic and it has to believe the parents what they tell it, and
Everything it
everything it
sees
does.
is normal
Yeah,
and is
everything it
how the
sees is
world
normal
is.
and new. It's not maybe not necessarily normal, but everything is new and everything works in a very precise way. You grab the ball, you drop the ball falls, like all these
Mm.
basics that we take for granted. For the child, it's all new, but it works. So the child
Yeah.
has this idea of everything I will do and learn will just continue like that. And at the end, I will have the absolute understanding of the world, and everything the people around me tell me is the truth. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I think
So
like she
the
it's not just tied to the physical aspect of it. It's like really this is the correct and the real and the true kind of.
yeah,
Like the
yeah,
child thinks, well, everything I hear, see, do is reality and
yeah,
in line. There's no contradiction within it, I guess.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. So that's why the child is, as she calls it, dogmatic, or
Yeah.
as Kant would call it, similar to like a religious dogmatism, right? Where you
Yeah.
just believe,
Yeah.
But then,
And we will kind
there.
of say like that kid is a bit stupid, but okay, go. Yeah, get some sense.
um, yeah, get some grow up, man. Grow up,
Yeah,
dude.
for real. Become an
For
adolescent.
real, grow up. uh, so exactly, and this dogmatism then gets cracks very soon, and this is the usual phase of the teenager, or young adolescent, what she is talking about, and then this dogmatism sort of shifts 180 degrees into the absolute skepticism that you can often observe for teenagers. Like they start to doubt their authority figures, and then they doubt more and more and more, and then they feel like everything they've been told is like false, and everyone they knew has told them lies.
Hmm.
It
They doubt
fairly
everything,
quickly.
even things
No,
that
exactly.
are true, perhaps, or seem
Yeah,
true.
so
Yeah.
the pendulum sort of goes in the opposite direction,
Yeah.
where you get the absolute skepticism or philosophical skepticism as well, or in a moral sense, the moral relativism is very strong in this era as well. So this is like the pendulum at the beginning, and her ideal of adulthood would be um, to use your own reason and um, and energy, really, because it's a hard and ongoing process to balance this pendulum somewhere in the middle, where you say there should be some ideals that I
Yeah.
want to fulfill in the world or see in the world to become real, while I also realize the world is not the way I was told it was, or the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
So to fill this discrepancy, you have to use your own reason, your own judgment, and balance somewhere in the middle. And she says this state is not a permanent state, but it's an ongoing process that never ends, really. So that's
Right.
why it's
You
so
might go
yeah.
back
In
and
this way,
forth
she's
too, I
very
guess. But
exactly, and in this way, she's very similar to Kant, because this is one of his ideas, right? That this is being a reasonable person is sort of, or a moral person even, is a very difficult balancing act,
yeah.
because dogmatism and skepticism are, I think he said, resting places for the mind or something. Uh, yeah. So this
I
is
mean, it
kind
makes
of
sense,
her.
right? Like it's easier to have this kind of framework than to have to
Yeah.
think it through every time. Like I mean, that kind of makes sense uh, to me. It's a bit of an
Yeah.
aside, but I kind of feel like you can see that a lot, like in discussions online, you know? Like people who have
Mm.
a framework, whether that's like a deep Christian one or a libertarian one or even a socialist one or something like that, right? They don't have to think as much because they can. It's already thought through for them, you know, in a
Yeah.
way. And
Yeah.
that's sort of like if you believe everything or if you doubt everything, like well, you've already like you don't have to think anymore. Like it's just yeah.
Yeah. It's true. And I mean, yeah, discussions online is a good example. I mean, there are like a lot of things happening, right? I mean, one of the more negative interpretations for me is that fairly seldomly discussions online are about, being open and being in a state of awareness and trying to learn something. It's more about, winning a fight, or getting back at someone.
Yeah, I've noticed this as well, you know, because I have a lot of discussions online, right? And I'm trying to teach the other person something, and they usually never.
What?
Yeah. Okay. You may continue with laying out your. Well,
No, no,
let's have 3 steps. That's true. That's basically it.
so yeah, but exactly, this is a 3-step sort of maybe similar to um, dialectics, right? Like a
Yeah, that's
little
what I
bit,
was thinking
at
too.
least.
It's very
Hmm.
thesis, antithesis,
Yeah,
synthesis, right? Yeah.
exactly. Only that the synthesis is not a new state in that sense, but an ongoing, effort. Um,
Right, right.
but but
Uh,
yeah, basically, this is what I like. This is the for at least this is how I read the book. People have different
I
perspectives and
mean,
emphasis on
I
this,
would also
but
say like this is definitely like I think that's what she agrees to the most. But she's very um she doesn't really come out that much with her own opinion. She's kind of like I read far and
yeah,
wide and I've brought you these philosophers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I mean
But
it
yeah,
is
my
interesting.
impression was, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it is interesting to like see it that widely, but I think that was kind of like one of the weaknesses for me in the book that it just was like it went in so many different directions, and I feel like the point itself was not argued as concisely as it could be.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Especially I think the second part where it was about Emile, where she drew a lot of historical background.
Yeah.
I think she jumped like from, I don't know, Rousseau to Hegel to Hume to, and only just, one very specific point at a time. It felt
Yeah,
a
it
little
was
bit
it
all
was
over the
very
place at times.
he said this, he said this, he said this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I said it didn't feel like an analytical work where you develop an argument referring to certain philosophers, but it felt more like, yeah, very eclectic.
Yeah. I mean she says as much herself at the end.
Mhm.
Really.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so this is kind of, for me, this was like the main point she wanted to bring home, at least from my perspective, that this is the adulthood is an ideal that is worth pursuing, right?
Yeah.
And then basically the rest of the book, like a lot of the book, is about how the world we live in actually fights this ideal or like actively hinders people to grow up.
Um, yes. But I think like what we laid out with these 3 steps is like what she thinks like growing up is, right?
Yeah.
Um, I do again think like really the only thing she really says for why growing up. I mean, she makes 2 points usually, right? She says like it's because it's difficult. She repeats that multiple times
Oh yeah. Mm.
as like it's a good in itself to be difficult and to because like society does not want you to. I feel like that's her 2 main points that answer the question she poses.
Yeah. What
Or
do you
do,
think
do
about this? Like, why is difficulty in itself something to strive for? You think that's a good point? I had the same feeling. Like this was one of, yeah.
No,
What do you think?
I don't really think. I don't think either of those are particularly good, convincing points to someone.
Mm.
You know, like so. Like the thing is, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I agree with her, right? I feel like people are too immature. They're like stuck in very childish patterns. I feel like they should grow up. I mean, I agree with her too about like what maturity is in parts. Maybe we could extend this. But I'm not super convinced by her argument for why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you feel you have,
A better one? No,
or
no.
rather, yeah, or any idea why you should grow up? At least in the way she defines growing up. I mean, for like let's say it's like the most like the common knowledge usage of the term she thinks is not correct, right? This is why I said she develops this philosophical ideal type of a grown up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in conventional wisdom, we say,
Well,
okay,
time
you're
passes and
grown
you're
up when
grown up.
you exactly time passes, you lose your hair,
Yeah.
and I mean, responsibility is a big word, right? This is
Yeah.
brought up a lot, like responsibility and earn your own money, kind of.
Right.
Um,
I mean, I
and
do
she
think
says
like
like, yeah,
I think she maybe hits on this point a little bit, but what I would probably say is that why a lot of people feel like they're not growing up themselves. Like I feel like that's a very common thing now. It's like, oh, I never realized that like growing up doesn't mean anything. You're just like you're still yourself, just
yeah,
older, kind of like that's a very common refrain. And I do think it's kind of down to rituals in part, rituals and
hmm
very specific ways that these different times in your life are celebrated or done in society, right?
yeah, hmm
So I feel like, I mean, obviously coming of age ceremonies have exist in like a lot of cultures, right?
yeah,
But further than this, like if you look into the 60s or whatever, like things would change in the, for example, in the US. You would now be expected to either work or go to university. You are expected to dress differently and like behave differently too, right? Which we've
yeah.
kind of like stopped doing in that sense. And
Oh, okay.
like, don't you think? Like, I mean, I feel like the markers of what adulthood is
hmm
have a little bit flown away.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you have like, do you think of something specific in, for example,
Yeah. Yeah. So, for
um,
example, like video games or something like that, right?
mhm.
It's kind of a thing that like older generations would be like, well, children play, adults do not play.
Oh, right,
Kind
yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
hmm
and like kind of do this way, or like once you start working, suddenly you have to wear a suit every time. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're just
I
like
get it.
this is
Yeah,
like
a lot of market. Yeah.
a marker of something
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah, I see
Um,
where this is coming. Yeah, that's interesting. I immediately thought of like being a role model, and
yeah,
now like for especially the smartphone time, screen time debate, and now like all the adults are on their smartphone all the time, but the
yeah.
children shouldn't be. Like this is another marker I can think of immediately. Like this idea of exerting a lot of self restraint is also kind of at least for the newer generations.
Like
It's
you mean
also
a sign of growing
diminished a
up
little
is
bit.
able to show self restraint, kind of.
I think it was more of a classic perspective.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think it was self-restraint, responsibility, and of course, yeah, earning money is very important because this is how we reproduce in our societies, right?
yeah. Well,
Um,
unless we live in ancient Greece and we are,
exactly.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, modern hour. I meant
yeah,
sort of our modern societies. Yeah. But I did like the because are talking about these markers, I did like the parts where she was referring to historical examples, how childhood changed in different places and times.
Mm.
I thought that was really interesting. Of course, it wasn't the first time I read about this, but it's still interesting when you know, think about it again, how different childhoods are, and how much of a social construct in our societies it really is, right? Because for that's why she said, like, Rousseau invented, or Enlightenment invented childhood as a
Yeah.
concept in the first place, because before children were you know, supposed to help the family and start working as soon as they were able to manipulate the physical world in some useful way, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you were able to, like, grab this wood and bring it to the fireplace, you were part of, you know, the working community, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she makes a good point about that. It's like how that changed, and I feel like this is also changing more and more even now, right? Like we're kind of like extending childhood and immaturity, even like there's an
Indefinitely.
agree. Well, we're doing it indefinitely for in some ways, right? But we're doing it very openly until like mid-20s or even late
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you see, there are very, very many different topics that you know, play a role. But I mean, you see this when you talk about, for example, drugs. Some are at, you can legally take at 21, for example.
Yep.
All suggesting that a person before that age either doesn't have the capacity, the cognitive capacity to make the decision in a meaningful manner, or I don't know. You know, it's very, very late actually to make such a decision. You know.
Yeah, or I mean, like some people might argue it's early, and you're like, oh, we need to wait until 25 because
Yeah. Yeah.
only then the the brain is fully developed or something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right? Like this is the kind of arguments you
Exactly.
also hear now.
Yeah. 25 is the brain development thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, I mean, you can very much pick and choose, right? Like it is
Yeah.
socially constructed,
Yeah.
but
And it's interesting because imagine like your childhood ending at 5 or 6 even, right?
mm,
I mean, the people in the ages before us, it would be just very interesting to see how different they were from modern adults, in quotations, right?
yeah,
Because now people argue, well, some of the things a child needs is like trust. They need love and trust, and it's okay if they lose part of that trust later on and become more skeptic. That's part of growing up, right? To find that balance again. But they still need like a general sense of positivity towards the world. And I just wonder how that would have worked in societies where there was like disillusion from the beginning. You know, there was no childhood. That childhood ended at like 6 or 5. I don't know.
right,
Well, how those people? I mean, they lived, they reproduced, they developed cultures. They were our ancestors, right? So how
yeah.
different really were they from us? Of course, they were very different, like philosophically, because we have other ideas and technologies and constructs and so on. But I mean, from their
Their
cognitive and
biology is the
physical
same.
and
Yeah, yeah.
emotional constitution, I'd say, or something like that. How different were they really?
I mean, that is interesting, and I feel like also like it probably really depends on, because if you're talking about like having children work, right? I do think there's like a lot of different ways this can go. Like the example she gave of like you have to help in the family immediately. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
this necessarily leads to disillusionment if everyone
yeah,
does it, right? Like it. I mean,
of
I,
course.
that's kind of the question. Is this disillusionment or is this a modern phenomenon? You know,
Yeah,
like but because we have like this kind of different upbringing now, we kind of feel really removed from the reality of of the world. and then like juxtaposing this with like what modern like child work is, which is like, you know, going into mines or something like that, which is, I mean, clearly disillusioning. I think like not good, you know.
Not good.
Not, yeah, a controversial take, but yeah, child slavery, I am against it. I come out against it today.
Okay.
Okay.
Hot take.
Right.
We can work with that.
let's not, yeah. Let's not say it too loud and too often, but
let's not shout it in the ether. Yeah. Ether.
Yeah, I mean, so I do. I mean, I think there was definitely a lot there because it jumped so much, the book too, right? Like there was a lot of like, oh, that's a very interesting idea. That's an interesting idea, you know? But there was not like a clear pattern, I think, that really tied it together.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
I think for me, I had to. I think I agree with you. I had to tie it together myself a little bit. This is how I constructed it. It's like this ideal type, and then she talks about how the world acts against this or hinders you to achieve this.
Yeah.
And she sort of and later on it even she has like a big chapter on it's a little bit of a guideline, right? She gives some heuristics on how to approach it with the three categories that are important for growing up, which is education, travel, and work, right? These are the three pillars, sort of, she describes. So I found it interesting that she's switching to this more hands-on sort of approach. Not really, but a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think like the headlines are very hands-on, but like the content of it is again like this kind of meandering. Is like, you know, who like travel, you know, Simone de Beauvoir, and like, you know, she was thinking this and that about it.
Yeah, it was more. It felt a little bit floaty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like you could say like you have to be a grown up to read this book already. So in which case, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want my hand held while I go through books.
On direct download, please.
Yeah. I'm very skeptical of this book.
No, I'm not. I get the feeling. Yeah.
I'm not really. I'm complaining on a high level, right? Like this is probably like it's good, right? Like there's so much shit out there. There's like this is very thought provoking. It's very filled with like interesting information and stuff, you know. And I guess
that's a good.
Yeah. There's a good word.
It's an interesting threshold for you. Like, okay, 95% of the books are shit out there. So
yeah, but I mean,
book is already good.
I do think this is kind of like a thing with like books that are good, right? Like they are actually the ones that make you like struggle with them a little bit and think and be like, well, this could be better if it was this way or that way, right? Like,
oh, that's very grown up of you.
I suppose so. But yeah, I mean, I've just been thinking this lately because I think it's a good book, but it's just kind of also crude. I don't know what to say. I kind of grew tired of like how disparate it was. Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah. Can you explain it?
Where it's just like, okay, now we're going down this line, but I'm not like exactly sure why we are going down there.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds kind of like, I mean, like what were the three things? So travel, work, and
education.
Education. Yeah. Like, I mean, they're not random per se, but like they're kind of like very different in a way too, right?
Yeah.
It just really felt like she wanted to talk about these specific topics.
Yeah, I think so too. But I had the same feeling, though. Yeah, she, like you said before, she doesn't really, the approach wasn't systematic enough to explain why did I choose these three, dimensions of life, let's say, or dimensions of the human condition. I mean, travel isn't necessarily a dimension of the human condition. Work is, and education, they are both like necessary. Every human has some form of it, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, you have to work in order to reproduce, and you get some education from your parents because this is what she's talking about. The human child compared to other animal children has a very specific condition that it is basically helpless for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then becomes very capable of manipulating the physical world and so forth. So it's a very very stark contrast in the human child compared to other animal children, right? So education is necessary to even get a human being to be self-reliant, not even a grown-up or very efficient or effective, but just to get to the baseline of being able to reproduce yourself, go to the toilet, brush your teeth.
Yeah, no, I mean, like that's the thing. We do have the capacity and the need for like being educated in some way or another, right? Like
Yeah.
not everything comes natural and biological to us.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the things we need to survive don't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is true. Like, I
Exactly.
mean, that's definitely a massive part of human condition.
And yeah, maybe we can talk about some of the things because we talked about like what the adulthood might look like, and but we didn't talk about what she thinks are the problems of society that are keeping people from achieving this,
Right.
state of being an adult. Maybe that's an interesting dimension. Um,
All right. What are they?
so one big one is this is where maybe your Marxist point or more, yeah,
The anti-authoritarian point.
anti-authoritarian point comes in. One big one is capitalism, right?
Yeah.
Basically, the way capitalism works will always lead to commodification, meaning all areas of life, all different dimensions of life are being occupied by the logic of the market, right? So things you had to think about and struggle with before in a certain area of life, now the logic of the market tells you, well, there is a way to shortcut it and just buy it with money, right? Either in the form of a product or in the form of someone doing it for you, like a service. So a lot of the sort of educational approach to areas of life is sort of substituted by the logic of the market through commodification. I think this is one point that I found interesting that I agree with her, that this is taking away a lot of, or giving people the false kind of safety and security that doesn't lead to further development, right, of skills or perspectives, or
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I understand what she means and what you mean with that. Like, I mean, I feel like it's very much that Rousseau point that she's trying to go for, right? Like, if you can rely on society to take care of most things, then you don't have the necessary reason to improve these skills. Yeah, no, I mean that makes a lot of sense, I think. And I mean she's just generally very critical of consumerism, I feel like.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think the I mean, okay, like this idea, and it's very enlightenment like, right? This idea of the person who is like a scientist and a poet and a chef and all these things in one,
Yeah.
like a free thinker sort of. Uh, It became a little bit obsolete, of course, because our societies grew much, much, much more complex. Like differentiated in ways that people during the Enlightenment era did not see coming, right? So
But I mean,
it's an
that's where
ideal
where
type
she
that is not
brought.
achievable for people. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where she brought Marx in, right? Like, because that was his part of his
Mm.
criticism of the modern world and
Yep.
of capitalism, that it just alienates you from, well, even from your work, but like from everything in a way, right? Because you're
Yep.
not. I mean, I forget what he says. Like, you do fishing in the morning and some philosophy in the
Yeah.
afternoon, etc.
I think you do the
Famous.
philosophy in the evening or something.
Okay,
You first fish.
I didn't know he was that authoritarian.
You have to do it my way. I
Yeah,
told you, you're gonna fish in the
philosophy
evening.
only in the evening.
You have
I
to leave the
better not
party,
catch you
comrade.
fishing again.
Yeah. The comrade who fishes in the afternoon will be found in the river in the evening.
Yeah, exactly. Famous saying by all Marxists, actually. No,
The
but you're
Marxists.
right. Like, obviously, this is the. I mean, the problem is it kind of like that criticism. I think people feel it, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool, like go back to the roots, be able to do this and that, be more closer and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, differentiation has advanced so much, and it's like it's almost unthinkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think.
in our
Yeah.
culture, like when it's done, it's usually like it's the systemic support of it is just hidden. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
buy 10 acres in there, this and that or whatever, right? But like, yeah, you're still like tied into the system in some ways, because why do you have
Yeah.
even the money, and who's guaranteeing that you can keep that land and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I think people that they try to find like little pockets in their life where they can get this feeling back and exert more control than usual. Like
Yeah,
maybe find a very specific hobby where you try to become an expert. But
yeah,
you see often how this fails, and where like capitalism comes in again, where people um, think they want to start something, and then the first step they think they need to do is to buy something, right? And then
yeah.
they don't do anything with it. like like they buy the means of production, like a camera in a Marxist
I get,
terminology,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
they don't do anything with it.
I guess her criticism would be like they have not learned to do the other step.
Yeah.
Basically, the only step they know is how to. Well, they only have one tool, a hammer slash buying things, and that's the only way they can interact with the world.
Yep. It's like
Yeah,
exactly this logic is creeping into more and more um yeah, situations where people otherwise would have, handled it differently.
yeah. I mean,
So
I
yeah,
do I
the
do think
the
it's good criticism. I agree with that.
yeah. So it's like okay, this is the what we said, capitalism is a problem. Oh yeah, and the second one she's talking about is basically the state, the modern state, that is not interested in having adults in the way she defines them, right? Free thinking, critical, non-obedient people, right?
Yeah,
Because any system, as you know, the sociologists say, the systems need to reproduce themselves, and one element is that a certain amount of social norms are internalized by their constituents, right?
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Um,
You need people that are fitting into your system of control, I guess. You don't want them.
exactly,
What,
exactly.
however that expresses itself.
Yeah, yeah. And so in a like very negative interpretation, the state actively works against people becoming too free of thinkers.
Yeah.
Um, while in reality, the state is also interested, of course, which is maybe something you could argue against her, the state is also interested in people that are free enough thinkers to, become innovators and so forth. So there is a little bit of a double-edged sword there, right?
There are opposing interests, at least to some degree, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of like dystopian literature kind of very much goes into that, right? Where it's like you have to have the masses who are docile and well, not grown up, basically.
Yep.
And then you do need like some sort of elite who still does something.
Yeah, but I feel like this sort of elite that you need, that is, innovative enough and free thinking enough, is still like a pretty big portion of society, usually, of the population, usually. Like it's.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know
she
the number,
probably
but
would.
I'd guess like 25%, 30% at least in modern societies that compete on a global level,
Yeah, although like I feel like she probably would make like a difference between like being educated for the purposes of the state versus being like educated to become a grown up, right? Which are like different.
It's true. It's true.
things.
I think what I didn't say out loud is that I think if you achieve the one, the chance is there's a big chance that it spills over a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you can't you cannot make someone into the best innovator of all times without that person also becoming part of the grown up she's talking about. Someone who has his own ideas about how the world should work and stuff like that, Like you can't really separate them at some level. Like there's some spillover effect for sure.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's true. I guess so. I suppose so. Let me think. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah. It's interesting, right? Like, because you can view it in different ways, right? There's clearly like people who are at like very high levels of achievement within this system who don't seem to be particularly deep thinkers about the system or anything.
Heresy.
Yeah. But then
whom are you thinking of? Let's make the NSA listen in.
Yeah, I think they know. And but on the other hand, right? Like I feel like we also have a lot of people. I mean, it's difficult. I wonder how she would classify it. Like if they fall into skeptics. But we have like a lot of people who think they're doing their own research, kind of, right? Like and are doing like learning a lot, and they do seem to be like harder to govern, at least in some democratic societies. Or at least harder to govern by traditional parties, which I guess is thing. But is this because they're grown-ups? Is this because they're just very?
Exactly. This is a good question.
Yeah.
Like in Germany, we have the Querdenker and the, all sorts of. Like, would she include like conspiracy theorists in being adults just because of the fact that they are refusing to be obedient and they refuse to accept the norms of society and have their own ideas about how the world is and should be? I don't know. You would say those are adults, so you need maybe another criteria to separate.
Well, that's what I think too. Like, I feel like you could try to make it easy on yourself and be like, they are the skeptical group. They're just skeptical of everything or whatever. Which
it's true. It's true. Dogmatic in a different way. Yeah.
It's not completely true though. Is the problem, right? Like it's you can say that, right? But it's sort of you're just kind of like putting your own view of the world as above everyone else's.
Yes.
Because like these people are not skeptical of everything. You know? Like they do believe in things.
They do believe in things.
Yeah.
For example, that color of your skin matters.
Ah, that's true. Yeah. Although, like, I feel like here we're already like kind of like judging it because that's like the hammer, right? Like that's being used. You know.
Yeah. It's true.
they like disagree with like one aspect of the mainstream opinion, whether that's, I mean, I feel like vaccines is like a big one, right? Like that was clearly
Hmm.
a thing that
Yep.
people that and like disliking vaccines is I mean it's stupid or whatever, right? But it doesn't have the same punch as being you as saying you're racist,
Yep.
right?
That's true.
but
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
but it is more easy for people who currently have control or want control to use that to say like,
Yep.
well, you are actually racist and also a fascist and probably against this and that, and maybe
And probably fascist.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I feel like we're kind of going into that other book we were talking about before, the Moral Fool. I think in terms of philosophical books, I like this one, but the other one is speaking to me right now a bit more, and so
Oh,
I'm
I
kind
still
of
have to read it. I haven't read it yet.
well, we might be able to talk about it, but that's why I'm like putting some ideas from it over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is.
This is
Yeah,
part of
I
becoming
really
a chroma.
want to. That's true. I really want to read it. Yeah. Haven't found a second-hand version yet.
Mm,
Otherwise, I'll order as soon as possible.
yeah,
Um.
because only a real fool would buy it full price.
Yeah, the problem is it's not like a popular science book. It's an actual, I think,
Yeah,
philosophy book. So it's pretty expensive.
and it's kind of a little bit older. It's 20 years, I think, or something like that.
Actually, yeah, it's a little bit older, which even makes it more suspect that I couldn't find a secondhand version. But I guess the readership is a smaller circle in this case.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it does look
While
like
Susan
it's
Newman is pretty popular, I think.
yeah,
At least I've seen her
especially
like
in
on
Germany
YouTube
too.
in yeah. She lives in Germany, I think, right?
I think
She
so too.
spent a
Yeah.
lot of time in Berlin.
She was very
So
pro Germany, until recently. And
yeah,
she's been
yeah.
pretty disappointed.
Well, I think yeah,
Who hasn't?
that's there are a lot of reasons to be.
Mm.
Um, but what I also there's one thing I found interesting in the book that it's a little bit random, not really attaching to the ideas we discussed before. But in the book, she's when she talks about this dogmatism, she's also referring to the Stoics, which
Yeah.
I enjoyed reading back in the days.
This is yep.
Uh,
That's a good one because this
yeah,
also was on my mind because I also uh, found found it useful both Stoicism as well as Buddhism.
yeah, and
For
yeah.
myself. Yeah, go on, please lay out your.
No, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you there, but yeah, she's talking about how the Enlightenment philosophers, especially Kant, would like criticize the Stoics because the Stoic approach is basically a little bit like this Christian saying where, please God, let me like I want to control what I can control
Yeah,
and
perfectly.
ignore basically what I
Yeah,
can't. And God give me the strength to know the difference, right? That's basically the Stoic, like very nutshelly
yeah,
uh, uh, thing. And I did enjoy the Stoics and reading them, and they were like a little, yeah, they were very motivational and gave you like some hands-on advice. And I think Kant, like she's saying that Kant would criticize them as actually being um, like withdrawing from the world, which
yeah,
is a sort of which is part of or a dogmatic approach, because you find like um, happiness in the solitude of yourself and being self-reliant and not engaging in the world in a manner of trying to achieve an ideal.
yeah,
So you give up that side of being an adult completely. So that is sort of a dogmatism. And I thought I mean, I thought the idea was interesting to compare it like that. But at the same time, I felt like it was a little bit binary, this
yeah.
criticism of Stoicism.
I think so too. So I mean, I have a couple different thoughts on it. So I
Mm,
agree. Like I also saw some value for it in in myself, and I do think like you can kind of separate these things, right? Like it doesn't have to be 100% or nothing thing, right?
Yeah,
You can be like, well, this can help me cope with something, and I
exactly.
can use this ability to cope to then influence, the world. So that's kind of
Yeah,
like you don't have to be like, oh, this is completely stupid because this, and well, if you believe this, then you will just not do anything. It's like, well, that's not really what's going to happen, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do find it
And
interesting though because I feel like both like Stoics and Buddhists, right? So she made like an argument from like universalism, basically, right? Like from
yeah,
which I found interesting because like I've been thinking more and also like watching some stuff where basically people make an argument against it from Marxism or like I guess system thinking where they're like
okay.
you're focusing too much on yourself. You need to actually like, well, what is the situation? What's the material situation you're in, and how? That's the important thing, right?
Yeah,
To look at, which I think I agree too. I feel like again you can do both or all three things in this sense, potentially.
yeah.
I mean, but I do kind of. I guess my point is if you see someone now who quotes Stoics, right? They're they usually
They
shit.
probably have bitcoins. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, no, you get what I mean, right? Like, I mean, she's
yeah, yeah,
right in that sense, and like the other criticism is right that it clearly lends itself to that, but it doesn't have to.
yeah,
Yeah,
because the Stoicism is like the new wave self improvement kind of books. Really went
exactly.
hard on Stoicism. Like, but the original ideas are. I'm pretty much very in line with you. I think it can be just like a tool for you know uh, psychological hygiene, and that is like a basis for being able to have the strength to approach the world and maybe fight for some ideals. It's
Yeah,
like it's not that binary as she makes it out. So I don't know.
yeah, I agree.
I was a little bit. I found the comparison very interesting, but I was a little bit weirded out that she dismisses it in that fashion.
Yeah,
Um,
yep. I also think like that
so
was maybe, but I mean, there's a bunch of things that are maybe a little bit black and white.
yeah. To
Yeah,
make to how do you say hit
I'm
the
not sure.
home? No, how do the Americans say? I don't know.
All right.
Get the
Hit
point.
hit hit
Get
the
the point.
bush in
Hit
the
the
home
bush in
run.
the back. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
uh,
To drive the point home, I think is perhaps what you're saying.
yeah, to drive the point home
Yeah.
exactly. Why do they drive it home? Aren't they running in America all the time, like baseball and stuff like that? Who's driving a point home?
I feel driving makes perfect sense. Like in America, you have to drive everywhere, even points.
Ah, drive like a driver, like when you golf or
Yeah,
something, you shoot
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
ball.
yeah.
Ah, okay, that makes more sense.
I think it's
Okay.
probably also maybe okay. I'm just gonna assume this. You also drive like a pile driver. Like you're putting
Yeah,
it
okay.
in, in German we would say bohren, like
Bohren, ja.
drill almost.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Ah, yeah, yeah, makes sense. Okay.
I assume. Like I'm just winging it.
Well, we all just
Yeah,
assuming, right?
yeah. Well,
Um,
some of us know, but not me.
no, some of us know, only the grown-ups do know.
Yeah.
They know for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah, so what did we talk about? Uh, yeah, we talked about what hinders the developments, like the state and capitalism or ways of capitalism.
yeah.
I think I have like a oh I even have a quote here. Let me check.
Oh, nice. Wow. We're
We
coming
we did
prepared.
yeah we didn't have a quote yeah, so we can prepare.
People will actually believe
Exactly.
this book exists and we didn't just make it
This
up.
book exists, right? Yeah, when she's talking about capitalism, she's like smartphones and cars are presented as tools rather than as toys,
Mm,
without which adult life would hardly be possible. By contrast, visions of a more just and humane world are dismissed as childish dreams that should be abandoned in favor of the real task, buying toys. That is, finding a steady job that secures us a place in the consumer economy, a perverse inversion. That's
right.
basically, yeah.
I mean, I do think like this is like some you can kind of see this in the US too, where like a lot of activism is based on consumer activism. It's like you need to be able to buy better, and that's the
Yeah.
main avenue of
Yeah.
improvement.
Yeah.
And like something like, I don't know, paying for medical insurance for everyone. That's like, okay, that's a pipe dream. That's insane. But maybe we
it's
can
crazy.
get
Grow
but
up,
maybe
man.
we can get another color for our
Yeah.
for our car. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
And
And I
what
mean, like,
actually,
also the
yeah,
other
and
thing
we
is like this
mm,
voting with your dollars, right? Like, which is,
yeah,
I mean, I feel like if someone listened to like democratic theory and stuff like that, one of the things that they really try to pile drive home in the bush is that it's one person, one vote, right?
yeah,
Which I think uh voting with your dollars doesn't do.
nope.
Nope. Nope.
Unless you only have $1, right?
Yeah, then exactly. It's like you one vote.
You have $1, one vote.
Yeah.
$10?
I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there. One.
Yeah, it's crazy how openly it's now. It is quite insane. So what did we talk? Yeah, we talked about the work aspect, right? Oh no, we didn't actually. We said like she has these. Sorry, to come back to the points, she has like these 3 pillars, like education, travel, and work,
Yeah.
where she gives like a little bit. In that portion of the book, it reads a little bit more like a self-development book, kind of, because she gives like these hands-on advices. Not concrete enough to be really helpful, but more concrete to feel like a self-development. But yeah, exactly. She's trying.
Like,
how generous.
she's not quite Jordan Peterson, but like.
What? Lobster boy! You go clean your room? Oh,
you clean your room before you grow up.
Yes. Oh man. Let's not talk about Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Although
not
it
today.
would be interesting to bring him into this sort of idea of growing up, because I think he has a different one.
Yeah, he's the main public intellectual we have, so we should at some point discuss some of his thoughts.
He's not anymore. I think you're living in 2000.
That's
I
true.
don't know,
We don't
17,
have public
16?
intellectual anymore.
When was he big? When was Jordan Peterson big? Like 16, 17, something like that?
No. He was
been a while,
pretty
right?
big until like 3 years ago, I would say.
Okay.
He fried his brain. That was really like, that didn't help him.
The Russians did it, right?
No, he did it, and the Russians tried to save him.
They saved him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say what you will about Putin, but he saved Jordan Peterson personally.
All right. Great. You think he injected some of his blood into Jordan Peterson? He's like, okay, let's not go deeper there.
Okay, it's a bit of an aside. We clearly didn't grow up.
So some of an aside, yeah. Yeah, and like this education, travel, and work. To come back to this, like education, she basically says that it's like the old critique of how schools are not really, as institutions, not really serving to fulfill their purpose, and because the state has an interest.
How schools resemble prisons?
Well, yeah, like children have to go to school. Yeah? It's actually the first institution that forces you to stay in that place. It's true.
It's a point. It's true, sort of.
And it's the first she says the first institution where you encounter this divergence of how the world should be and how it is so starkly, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not very clear though. I was a little bit disappointed in this portion of the book because I would have liked her to give some examples of how a better school would look like, I mean, there are different books for that, for sure. I mean, there are it's a whole different area of study, how to change the education system and so forth. But there's a little bit of a shortage on her side, I feel like, giving examples
I
or
guess so. Yeah. I mean, I feel like she could have been like a bit more specific, right? But like,
yeah.
she also, I don't know, she clearly likes Emil.
Yeah, she does.
She just needs
By
an
the way, like,
omnipotent instructor.
oh, she's looking for a omnipotent teacher
Yeah,
to
that would really help.
beat around the bush. Yeah, and yeah, she makes like 3 points, right? Like,
Yeah.
what do you have to do to have a better education? She says, avoid being the smartest person in the room, which is sort of a good advice. I mean, it's a metaphor, right? It's a metaphor for challenge
Yeah.
yourself, right?
I mean, the thing is, it's
Don't
not
stay
hard
on
to
a plateau.
follow. It's
Yes,
it's
yeah.
possible for almost everyone except for one person per room.
It's true. And even then, you have to find out who it is, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
a room doesn't actually, like, how often do you come into a room and the room is trying to figure out who the smartest person is?
Yeah, it's not that
It's
often.
not happening a lot, right?
Yeah.
um, so yeah, so avoid being the smartest person in a room, which basically means, like, as a metaphor, to challenge yourself,
Yeah.
and don't, keep
You could
moving,
almost say,
right?
like, assume that the person you're talking to knows something you don't.
Oh my god! Now I feel like Lobster Boy.
Yeah.
Then she says, read the classics. There is a reason why they became classics. I
Mm.
I really agree with her there. I'm totally I'm like a snob in that way, I guess.
I mean, yeah, well,
Um,
I agree too. Like, read. You don't have to read all of them, but like, read
no, of course not.
some
But the
interesting
thing
stuff.
is,
Yeah.
I was very skeptical at first, and then I started to read the classics, and I really enjoyed a lot of them. And
Yeah.
I
No.
understood more and more why
Definitely.
that. Like, I had this skepticism before and thought, like, adults, what the hell, these boring books, old books. And then I actually tried it, and I thought, oh well, they have something to say. It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I do think
And
like a lot. Most of them have something to say, and they're good in some way or another, right? But they also clearly like shaped a lot of people's thoughts, you
yeah,
know, and that
yeah,
just is like palpable everywhere. Yeah, you feel that.
yeah,
You can
yeah,
feel that. Yeah.
that's true. And what is the third one? Reduce your time on the internet. Sort of deep work. Do deep work.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah.
uh, detoxification, or how you call it, of your smartphone.
Yeah. Digital detox. Yeah.
Digital detox, right?
Yeah.
So these are the 3 points for education. She's, and I think they are all right, but I don't. Again, like what you said, I don't feel like this is a very systematic approach. It felt more like, this is what I think and feel like at the moment. I want to include this in my book. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like my focus, right?
Yeah.
It felt a little
No,
bit eclectic
it's very
again.
individualistic. It's not like really, well, how are
Yeah,
we implementing this? I mean, like I would assume like the number one, right? Like that's the idea of schooling. Like that's what they were thinking. It's like, what,
yeah,
we have the smartest or most knowledgeable person in the front, and they will educate the people sitting in the rows behind it. So
yeah,
that's the idea, at least, you know. And
yeah.
I do think, like, I mean, they do teach the classics, I
They
think.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they do.
Like,
But
some people
I
like
feel
it
like,
more, or
yeah,
some people like it less. Sure.
yeah. But for me, from my personal experience, the whole education thing.
Yeah.
I mean, these points are all right, but I feel like for me the problem rather was, I don't know why. I can't really like put the finger on it, but the intrinsic motivation during those school years is like very low for a lot of teenagers. I feel
Yeah.
like. Maybe because they don't have like an ideal and a great teacher oftentimes that tells them like what they do is actually meaningful and will lead to something. Uh, I don't know. For me, it was more like, maybe the time is wrong for people to read the classics at that point. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it came later when I did it because I wanted to do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, like,
Um,
the question is, how do you get people to? You're competing now with
yeah,
something that's more, um, it's much better at hitting our pleasure centers than reading does. Reading is very good at that, right? Like, I mean, when reading became widespread, you were also like, oh no, all these women are reading, doing nothing but reading. That's going to be real bad for society. Because it is more pleasurable than other stuff, like looking into the far distance, for example. But TikTok is still a little bit more addictive.
Yeah. Also not for me. I don't use TikTok.
Well, it would be if you
I don't
were
have Twitter.
to
I
use
don't
it.
have TikTok. I don't have Facebook. Good, great. But
well, that's why you're reading the
do
classics.
YouTube,
That's basically my point.
but I still do the YouTube Shorts, which is almost the same thing, right? It's bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But you
That's
get what
pretty
I
bad.
mean, right? Like, I mean, obviously, reading has also just become like less. I feel like people who really liked reading before, they just, that was like entertainment to them.
Yep.
And it's much more difficult to do that when you can watch, you know, Breaking Bad, or I don't know what the people are watching now.
What the people are
Yeah.
what the
plebs
are watching.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. I think
Probably
that's
something.
not the current show people are watching.
Okay.
What are people watching now? Like White Lotus?
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably just stupid anime.
And that was the education thing. And what I think the work aspect, she's saying, well, a lot of the jobs also actively work against growing up because, well, they are bullshit jobs, like the book.
Like the book of the same name.
The book of the same name, like people realize this, right? It's like the Marxist argument of alienation of yourself and from the world at the same time, when you spend like 8 hours doing something which you realize is pretty useless. So yeah,
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because it's like basically like another step removed, right? Like in Marx's time, you were at least like, well, this is useful. You just like so far removed from the use of it that you can't feel it.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this isn't even useful.
like, you know? Yeah, exactly. It's true. You're absolutely right. Producing something material or like having a service that actually betters the world or helps someone is. But today you have so many like middleman jobs, you know, or I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, are there particular points that you would still like to make, or should we?
So okay. I get the message. You're like a little bit beating behind the bush, right?
Yeah, I'm bashing
like
the bush.
you want to come like you want to no I think we covered a lot of the things.
No, I feel like we discussed it pretty well. I would just like maybe do like an overall view of it.
Okay.
And then I mean, we kind of did talk about it. I quite like it, and I don't know if you've watched my. I know you have a parasocial relationship, but the one I did with my friend Bex, about Oppenheimer.
No, not yet. It was a fairly recent one, right?
Yeah, pretty recent.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched it yet.
So the way we were doing it there is you can give a star rating. I don't know if you like doing star rating, and I give thumbs up, thumbs down.
Wait, you do the binary and I give stars, or what?
Yes. I mean, if you want to do stars rating, like, we can also do two binaries. You choose your rating.
Okay, I was just wondering how you two came to the agreement to do it that way. That you give the thumbs and she gives the stars, or?
Yeah, well, she does give stars. And so she asked me for a star rating, and I was like, I am morally and ethically and philosophically and materially and physically, biologically, psychologically opposed to it.
So you're more of a thumbs up, thumbs down person.
Yeah, I feel like even if I start going out of 3, I'm lying to myself and to you.
Okay,
I cannot justify this.
Okay, I don't know. What do we want to? How do we want to rate the book?
You can rate it
Mm,
however you want. You can go out of 100, out of 74. Give it stars. You can give it brains. Brains
um,
might be good for a philosophy book.
that's. I give it lobsters. I think
Oh, perfect.
I think it has. Yeah, 4 out of 5 lobsters.
4 out of 5
I'd
lobsters.
say.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I give it a thumbs
that's
up.
pretty good.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
How many lobsters is that? It's okay.
You can't exchange that directly. You're not getting any
Can't
lobsters.
exchange it. No lobsters. Okay. No lobsters for you, Neiman.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it was good. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it. We should
Also,
do
like
another one soon.
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant the book.
Yeah, that's what
Also,
it
the
did
book.
mean.
One
This
last thing.
what we were doing was
Overall.
terrible.
Yeah. Finally, some agreement. No. I did like I also like the style, like not the all over the place kind of a little bit unsystematic, but like the writing style itself.
Yeah.
It was meditative, I think, like
It's well
a little
written.
bit like a
Yeah, it
well
takes
written,
you
yeah.
along in that sense, and it's yeah, it's good.
And also you don't spend too much time with it, right? It's not like a thick
It's not
book,
super long.
and
It's true. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So that combination is always pretty decent. So yeah.
How was the paper
Which paper?
that is printed on?
Oh yeah,
Did it feel
it
good?
was it did feel good. I do like paper. I do like paper books.
It depends for me. Like
I
there's
like
some
the feeling of it.
really bad paper
Mm.
books.
Yeah, some are really bad, right? But
They're rough on the fingers.
cheap paper. Do you have one in mind that really, went hard on your fingers?
I try to avoid them. So if I'm in
Okay.
a bookstore, I will feel the paper, and if it's bad paper, I will not
Okay.
buy it.
Interesting.
So, but I mean, I can't think of one specifically, but I feel like if it was too bad, which sometimes happens, I can't read it. Like,
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Hmm.
but the fingers read with, as we say in Germany.
Yeah, the read with, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure being a guest here. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun.
GhostEO.
Yeah. Do we have something set up already? What we're gonna read next, or no? We must
could
discuss
read them.
offline. Oh, okay. Yeah,
We can
food?
discuss offline, sure.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Okay, that was fun, and well, see you all later. Bye. You gonna say bye?
Bye. No way. This is
Perfect
something
ending.
interesting when people say like bye in a certain way. Often people feel compelled to imitate it. Have you noticed this phenomenon? Like when
No.
someone says hi or bye in a certain way, that others repeat it in exactly the same manner, even though they usually say it differently.
Oh, it makes sense, right? Like some sort of social compulsion.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to influence you. You should have your own goodbye. Please say it however you want.
Okay, bye.